Hello and welcome to my porch. Today we're going to talk about rocks for your business. Marketing consultant Al Reese gives an amazing illustration. He talks about how powerful the sun is and that it rains all this kilowatts of energy down on us, and we can have a hat, sunglasses, some sunscreen, and we can hang out at the beach all day. However, a laser tends to focus, and it may be a smaller source of energy and use a lot less kilowatts. Whenever it really focuses in and points at something, it can make a hole through a diamond, it can kill cancer. The point of this analogy is most businesses do not have billions of kilowatts. You have to be able to get laser focused with what you have. This means it's really important to be able to get everyone on your team in the same boat. They know why they're in the boat, and everyone is rowing the same direction. We're going to talk about the power of getting focused today. And part of getting focused is being able to get rocks for your business. This is the third way to transform your business. The first two were last week, so if you haven't had an opportunity to check out first two ways to get focused, check out those. Focus can bring power and energy to almost anything, and this is both physically and mentally. And Stephen Covey proves that with his analogy of first things first. This is when he takes a container and he talks about rocks, gravel, sand, and water. Now, rocks are the things that are the most important, and gravel become your day-to-day task. Sand becomes those nauseous interruptions, and water becomes everything else. So if you start putting in water and sand and gravel into your life first, what happens is you don't have time for the really big important things, which are the rocks. Make sure that you are starting with the rocks first, which is why we're here today. And we're going to talk about how can we get those rocks into your business. The first step is to be able to remove those distractions and really think about what do you need to delegate and what do you need to delete to be able to allow yourself to focus more time on the rocks. The next step is for you to be able to find some focused time to just think. And a lot of times this helps if you can get out of your business or out of your home and to be able to find a neutral spot. Take a notepad and get on Zoom together with your team. Focus on 3 to 7 priorities for your business. John Maxwell says it best when he says 3 to 7 priorities in the next 90 days is not about a destination. It's about focusing your attention and giving you direction. You want it to be clear enough to be kept in focus, close enough to be achieved, and helpful enough to change lives. And in other words, change your business. And when you do this, your business can do amazing things. We're wondering how in the world do we create those 3 to 7 rocks? The first step is just to be able to get your team or your leadership team in a neutral environment and just brainstorm. Have honest, open, and direct conversation about what really needs to happen in your company in the next 90 days. And it doesn't matter if they're big things, if they're little things, if they're way off base. At this point, just try to get it out of your head and onto paper. Now, go ahead and pause this if you want. If you're a single entrepreneur, feel free to pause right here and sit down and really think about what needs to happen in your business in the next 90 days. After you have the initial list, then you're going to need to be able to go through and you may need to narrow it down because you may have 20, 30, you may have 40 different ideas about what you think needs to happen in the next 90 days. But remember, like the analogy, we want to become a laser and we want to really drill down and focus on the 3 to 7 most important. And in order to get there, you may need to cross off some things that maybe, once you're really thinking and you're discussing and you're talking amongst your team, some things aren't as important as what you initially thought. So maybe those get crossed out. Maybe there's some things that are very similar and you can combine those and kind of draw arrows and attach those together. And there may be some that you are like, wow, that is spot on. That is something we need to do. And you can circle those. So just keep going through that process over and over and over until you drill it down and you feel like you have the 3 to 7 most important rocks for your business in the next 90 days. Now, once you have those, you now need to put them on a separate sheet, list them out, and put a due date, when they will be due, and who will be accountable for making sure that they get done. And again, there may be 5 people working on it at different stages, but you need to designate one person that's going to make sure that they're keeping the train moving and everything's flowing the way it is. So it's really important to have one person accountable for each rock. Once you have the company rocks, you get to do that all over again with each individual's rocks. And you may take the list. Now at this point, you have all of the 3 to 7 on a sheet of paper. This is what you have for your company. Then you may still have your brainstorming map from before, and a lot of times some of the things that were crossed off of your company rocks may be really important for one person on your team to own as an individual rock. To go back through and have, again, keep it simple, 1 to 3 rocks that an individual really needs to make sure is happening each 90 days. And this is really important to be able to have solid rocks for your company. And the last thing I want to point out, whenever you're creating rocks for your company, it's so important for you to remember that this isn't a one and done task. You have to repeat this every 90 days. You want to be able to sit down and say, okay, what did we get accomplished with our rocks from last quarter? And what rocks do we now need to focus on for the upcoming quarter? And you'll want to do that every 90 days. The more that you can get laser focused on your rocks, and the more that you can really immerse yourself in the most important things that need to get done every day, all of a sudden you're going to be able to put all the pieces together and catapult your company and your business further than you ever thought imaginable. Thank you for joining me today on part 2 of finding focus and accountability by creating rocks for your business. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. If you have questions about how to be more focused and gain more accountability for your business, add them to the comments. I'd love to answer your questions. Until next week, remember we will be continuing our journey of the 5 top ways to be focused. We did 2 last week. Today was Rocks for Your Business. 4 and 5 will be in the coming weeks. Stay tuned.